Paul George with 3 straight 30-point games, his longest streak of the season. And Fuego again last night against the Pacers. He started strong, 7 minutes in, left in the first, works into the paint, hits a tough scoop. Clippers will go up by 5, over 5 to play. Luke Kennard to George. That's it. Now 12 seconds left in the half. The Clips were just up by 1. He goes behind the back and hits the step-back jumper. He had 23 points in the first half. Clippers with a lead by 3. Early in the fourth, they were just starting to pull away. Here he gives it up and gets it back and hits the mid-range, baby. And he was just doing it all. He was also setting up his teammates. Man with the steal to George, back to man for the jam. Clippers pull away in the fourth quarter to win 126-115 behind Paul's 36 points. PG said he is having a breakthrough and gave credit to his head coach, Ty Lue. Sound up.
You just been putting the ball in my hands and been trusting me. And when, a coach gives you trust, he allow you to play through mistakes. At some point, you're going to figure the game out and figure out how every team is going to guard you and see everything. So I thought I did that early on. He allowed me to play make. He allowed me to play a lot at the point, which helped my playmaking. And then, having Rondo, having, Reggie, I kind of can go back to being aggressive to score and looking to score. And that just gives me the confidence to go out and make shots.
So George keeps his hot streak going. It started last Tuesday when he scored 36 in a win over Portland. That was tied for his second most in a game this season and his most in more than 2 months. 2 nights later, George dropped 33 in a 10-point win against the Suns. He did his work from the outside in that game, going 7 for 9 on three-pointers, his third game this year with at least 7 threes. And after sitting out a game, George showed no rust, putting up 32 in a win over Detroit, extending the Clippers' win streak to 5. He added 9 assists, tied for his second most in a 30-point game. And last night, George made it a 4th straight 30-point game, dropping 36 in a win at Indiana. It's one of the longest 30-point streaks of his career, set in 2019 when he was with the Thunder. With that, we welcome in our basketball analyst, Monica McNutt, here on SportsCenter AM. Monica, the Clippers are making a lot of noise behind the Suns for that 2 seed. How will the Rays at the top of the West finish overall the final month?
Good morning, Tony. Well, it's certainly going to get interesting. And bearing those numbers in mind from Paul George, I can't help it. I'm over here like 33, 32, 36, 36, do-do-do-do-do. But anyway, all right, to your question about how the standings are going to finish out, I actually think that this Clippers team is going to surge, and they're going to take over that 2 spot from the Phoenix Suns. A lot of this has to do with the schedule, though, Tony. The Clippers are going to hit a 17-game stretch where they only have to play 5 games between April 23rd and May 8th. So they'll be well-rested. They'll be fluid. I expect Paul George to keep up this level of production. The Suns, on the other hand, they've got 12 of their last 16 on the road, and they hit a mean 5-game stretch. I'm talking about at Milwaukee, at Philly, at Boston, at Brooklyn, and at New York. So I just think by virtue of their schedule being a little bit more challenging down the stretch and that team being a little bit younger, despite CP3's leadership, I think that they might take a little drop and the Clippers could take over that 2nd spot.
And to your point, the Suns have the 4th hardest remaining strength of schedule, while the Clippers have the 4th easiest entering the playoffs. All right, so just outside the top 3 sits Denver, but they'll be without Jamal Murray because of a torn ACL. Monica, who do you expect is going to step up in his absence?
Man, Tony, those are such large shoes to fill. I think it's going to have to be done by committee, and Michael Porter Jr. is sort of the top of that committee. He's been averaging 17 points per game and 8 rebounds per game. Now, you talk about missing now 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists from Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. has the ceiling and the potential to be able to fill up the basketball and score at a high clip, but he's now going to have to adjust to defenses keying in on him as potentially that 1-2 guy sometimes, as opposed to the 3rd guy where he currently stood. And so because of the timing of this injury, with a little bit barely over a month left in the season, there's not a lot of time for him to acclimate. So he's going to have to be baptized by fire. Somebody's certainly got to fill in for the loss of Jamal Murray.
It is time. No more training wheels. He's earned the respect and trust of Coach Michael Malone. Porter is averaging 21 points per game since the All-Star break. Monica, as always, appreciate the insight.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.